Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're going to talk about a game that is a really cool, but totally bullshit premise. I'm just saying, so these people, there's a big ass beast and like some tiny little girl, and they're wearing a mask. I'm like, who's that?
So yeah, we are all at a masquerade and we're disguised, but we are different characters from the Grimm brothers' tales that have been, told many times. You could be the big bad wolf, or you could be the beast, or you could be Hansel.
The big bad wolf?
The big bad... Yeah.
You said
the
wolf.
beast.
The big bad wolf.
The big bad bork.
So we're collecting things that we want. You're either collecting your boon, which is the thing you need to win, or you may be collecting banes, which if you collect 2 of them, you'll be ousted as, being the person that you are, if you are that person. No matter what, if you collect 2 of a card, you're going to have to mark whether or not you are that person.
Yeah, because that knowledge is not public. Because if I'm the evil queen and I get 2 mirrors, I'm revealed as the evil queen. You all know who I am. If I have 2 mirrors, then you all know, obviously, you're not the evil queen. But instead of making us all remember that, there's this nice little board out there where you can put tiles. So it's a lot less memory and more just manipulating what's out there and deducing things.
I really do like that memory is pretty much not an aspect. Well, there are sometimes you'll get to draw from the character deck.
Yeah, peek at the guest list.
Yeah, the unused things. So there's memory there, but by and large, it's not really a memory game.
And there's also some, I remember one time he got the treat, and he got rid of that, immediately. He was, he was looking uncomfortable, so I'm going to file that away. Yeah. But most of the information is public and recorded.
I do like how, for the most part, those boons and banes make thematic sense. I don't remember the beast hating shoes, but, Cinderella definitely needed the slippers, and the clock was definitely her baddie.
Midnight, then
I know, they were like, at midnight he'll figure out you're poor. She's like, oh no, not poor!
Or the evil queen wanted to be crowned, but the mirror revealed her for what she really was, and she didn't want that.
Yes.
We could keep going and explaining this.
No, well, actually, none of us could, off the top of our heads, none of us could remember what Rumpelstiltskin did.
Yeah, why?
I knew they had to guess his name.
I think he sold insurance.
You're collecting these cards in front of you. The way it works is you're going to draw one. You're going to look at it. You're going to decide whether or not you want to keep it or you want to give it to someone else. Then you draw another card and you do the exact opposite. So if you kept a card, then you give away the next card. You're like, oh, well, I drew 2 treats in a row, so it didn't even matter.
Right. But you could be like, ooh, I'll get rid of this mirror. And then the next one, you're like, oh, it's a crown and I have to keep it. And that's my bad thing. So I'm out.
Lost, yeah.
Good job.
Or you do what Tom does and oh, a crown, I'll keep that. Oh, I lost. But that is a little bit of press your luck almost, where if you give it away, it's possible that you could end up with something, because you don't get to choose.
Or vice versa. If you pull something, ooh, I really want this, and then the second thing you pull up and you're like,
no, I really wanted that.
I don't want to, or you're like, I don't want to give this to either of them.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about this game, though, is not many of these deduction games work with 3 players. Mm-hmm. And they may say 3 to whatever, but the 3-player game is a variant, and it's probably dumb.
Well, Spyfall goes down to 4.
It's not 3.
Yeah, and I don't even think that works.
Does Resistance play at 3?
Resistance is 5.
Okay.
So
it's
definitely, this is definitely the more the merrier. A 5-player game, I did like more than, and there is a 2-player variant, which we haven't played, so we shouldn't comment on it, so I'll edit that part out. But yeah, no, it's definitely better the more the merrier, but again, it's really hard to find a social deduction game that still actually is a really good time at 3 players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is my voice so high?
You're having so much fun! So the biggest thing is you want to point the finger at someone when you think you know who they are. So if I have 2 treats in front of me and I think that, Wes is Rumpelstiltskin, I can spend my 2 treats to use the point the finger and be like, hey, you're Rumpelstiltskin? He's like, no. I'm like, dang it. Well, you get a victory point because I tried to...
And then I'll put a marker out on Rumpelstiltskin to say I'm definitely not him because I was accused and I said no.
But he is making a good point, though, of so it's also, there's points for the end of the round, and it's last man standing gets those points. Sort of that's the winner of the round. But you almost don't want to bum, especially in the first round, because it's 1, 3, and 5 points for the first, second, and third round respectively. Yeah. So you almost don't want to bum rush and get all 3 of your things at instantly, because then it's like, oh, well, then I got 1 point. I would have gotten a lot more points if I had figured out who everybody else was.
Yeah, and you point the finger at them.
But see, you also have to try to be careful, because you want pairs, to turn in for actions. And the point of finger is available every turn. And then there's other actions that like cycle out between rounds, and I think you're supposed to shuffle them into the action deck and then deal new ones out. We like to just discard them and deal new ones that we see different actions every round, because when you shuffle, you have some games where like the exact same actions come out and you're like, oh, it's the exact same thing again. But regardless, you want pairs to activate those. But the more different pairs you get, the more information is out there. So you have to be really careful what you collect and really try to mitigate how much information you give away so that you can stay in the game longer. Because if every turn I'm giving away a different character that I'm not, it's not going to be very long before they figure out who I am.
And now, so all of these actions and stuff we're talking about, we're mostly just talking about the base game. There are a couple, like, advanced or variant... Well, no, not variant. They're just advanced things that a lot of them I don't think are that advanced. First of all, everybody could start with a wild type of thing that couldn't be used for your boons, but you can use it to pitch with another card to do an action. That's pretty straightforward. I would include that in every game.
Yeah, if you don't use it, you get 3 victory points.
Yeah, but like, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we explain that variant.
Yeah, know it. And there's wagers where there's one action card where you can actually get them, but mostly it's when you get knocked out, you can then grab a wager card, which is basically saying, hey, I'm pretty certain the evil queen, whoever the evil queen is going to win the game. So if they do, I'm going to win with them. It's also pretty straightforward. I think I would include that.
Especially because, like, you're already eliminated from the game. So it's like, hey, you're not eliminated from the game because you can still do stuff, but it's like, hey, you're not going to win, so you're a lot less vested in this game now because you're just kind of trying to screw with other people. But now you can pick one of these, and if you think, like, I picked Evil Queen, I'm pretty sure Aaron's Evil Queen. I now have a reason to help Aaron win. And so when I'm dealing out the cards, because you still pass out cards when you are eliminated, so now I'm trying to help Aaron. But maybe Tom's Evil Queen, so I'm hurting Tom, and I don't even know that I'm hurting myself. But the fact that it's not the whole game, it's like, hey, now that you don't have much to care about, here's something to care about. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't play with that.
Some people just can't handle that extra thing, I guess.
I don't
You're playing with Tom's mom. Like,
my mom,
she would totally get that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could see.
She may not get why things are happening.
But I see like why you would leave it out and add it in and add another game or something with somebody. But the one that I would probably have my first real complaint with the game is that there's these special abilities. It's sort of like a catch-up mechanism. Whoever has the fewest amount of points will take a special ability for the next round, and it has to do with whatever they were the round before. Oh, if you were Evil Queen, here's your Evil Queen ability that you get for the next round. And these are ultimately, I don't think they're that powerful. Like, it's just sometimes they could like never trigger in your following turn, and it's just a thing where it's like it's like, hey guys, here's a catch-up mechanism that might actually do nothing for you. So I feel like they're just okay.
So as an optional add-in, I don't know why you're calling it a complaint. Like, maybe you would like to see them more. Like, it's not that it's a negative. It's that it would be better if they did more.
Right? Yeah, I'm saying these aren't as good. They just aren't as good as they could be, in my opinion. It's when I was, because I played the game without this the first time, and then when I first played with it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Then I was like, oh, that okay.
Yeah, it's more mayo than
would you rather play with it or without it though?
I would rather play with it. But I would also rather them just be better. You know what I mean?
It's not a true complaint. It's just a recommendation for an expansion.
I'm just saying. I'm saying this part of the game could be better.
Overall, though, we did have a really good time with this game, especially if you want to add a social, fun deduction game that you can play with a smaller crowd. Definitely check out the Grimm Masquerade. We'll have a purchase link in the description box down below.
Either way, you should subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
Masquerade!
Such a piece of